Nothing. I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not getting any sound.
Okay, maybe if I turn the soundboard on more than
try that.
Pioneer,
Try that
you
time.
can actually hear it. All right, here we go. 3, 2.
I'm Kier from In Defense Of, a podcast member of the GonnaGeek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This is show number 116, discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 16, Paradise Lost, and Jessica Jones, Season 1, Episode 8, A.K.A. WWJD ? This show is recorded on Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based show on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, Marvel's Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage on Netflix, and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because of the sweet taste of sufentanil.
If you'd like to talk to us about the sweet taste of sufentanil, you can contact us at our website, legendsofshield.com. You can get us at our voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can find us at our Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, all Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/GonnaGeek, and our network can be found at GonnaGeek.com.
This time on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be reminding you about Free Comic Book Day. We're going to be going over our giveaway of the month until May. We're going to be talking about Paradise Lost and Jessica Jones. We're going to be running through the mountain of Marvel news that hit us in the past week, and your feedback, and of course, highlights from the live chat room. Just a little reminder, we have a video companion to this show. It's the live recording from Blab that Blab gives us back. And what we do is we throw that on our YouTube channel. So go to GonnaGeek YouTube at youtube.com/GonnaGeek. And you can find all sorts of great video shows from the GonnaGeek Network, GonnaGeek Podcast, the GonnaGeek Show, Better Podcasting, all things good and nerdy, Starling Tribune, Nerd Alert News special editions, and we just had one. It was really great, too, because it was a reaction to Rogue One. And, of course, tech reviews and comparison. You can find all that, once again, at youtube.com/GonnaGeek. And what do we have coming up next month, Lauren? It's something really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. I was trying to remember which one, because there's a bunch of things that I'm really looking forward to next month. I was like, is it Civil War? Is it cons? But no, what we have coming up is Nerd Christmas, A.K.A. Free Comic Book Day.
Yep. May 7th. It's coming up to a comic book store near you. That's May 7th, 2016. I know this podcast will be out there for a long time. So yes, we're talking about Free Comic Book Day. It's usually in May every year. This year, it's May 7th, 2016.
Isn't it the first Saturday in May?
Yeah, it's usually the first Saturday in May.
Right. So, but this year it's May 7th. And so go to your local comic book store, get all kinds of free stuff. I actually already have plans designated that morning to go to the comic book store. Haley, you going to take the day off to go to Kansas City or
to find a comic book store?
Right.
I'm probably going to have to take like a day off the week before too to scout one out. And then I'll take that day off so I can go visit a comic book store, because there are not comic book stores here.
Internet is for, Haley.
Funny story. The only place to get comics used to be the Hastings in town, which meant, they had like 30 books to choose from. Go nuts. Ooh. But Hastings went out of business. So
Well, so you'll have to just search the internet. Marvel has a great comic book store locator at marvel.com.
There's this great thing called digital comics. And actually, most of the places that have free comic books release those digitally as well now.
Yeah. There's still a bunch of usually like little festivities or cosplay contests
but for people that might be in the same situation I am, where you can't go to a comic book store, you can still get the sweet free comic book stuff.
Yes, this is true.
Late. It's not the same day though. It's later, right?
Depends on the title.
Okay.
Some imprints do it that day. Some do it a couple months later. Some will do it the next year, but it really
some of them you might never be able to get it, but you know.
At least it's something. It's something for you. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right.
Just a little taste.
That's all you get. Just a little taste.
First taste is free.
That is kind of what Free Comic Book Day is all about. It's both a celebration of the sort of beginning of summer, in that it's kind of become a thing that the first comic book movie of May is like the official start of summer now when it comes to movies, like Civil the summer movie season.
But they back that up to April now.
But it's also like lure them in, give them their first taste for free, and then offer these at a discounted rate. So then they will have no choice but to come back. And this is why I don't do drugs, because I buy a lot of comics.
I know.
I can't afford to do drugs. All my money goes to comics.
That file system that I have, or whatever they file list. I think it's called a file list at my place. Like, hey, Stargate Pioneer, we're glad to see you. Yeah, because I'm going to give you lots of money.
Yeah, because you're putting their kids through college. Good job.
I think the kids are already through college. I think we're working on their bar tabs at this point in time. But anyway, it's May 7th, 2016. It is Free Comic Book Day. Go find one near you. Like I said, you can search for one at marvel.com or anywhere really on the digital sphere. So just find one and then go get some free stuff on Saturday, May 7th. All right. Haley, you weren't here last week, but did you listen to the podcast?
I haven't listened to the podcast yet, but I did get to see the episode.
Okay. So what we're talking about, though, is our next giveaway. So we're giving away a Marvel, this is kind of complicated, so bear with me here. Okay. So what we're giving away is a Star Wars Smugglers box, the Cantina crate, and we're giving that away. But for those people that want to get into the contest, they have to tell us whether they want Team Cap or Team Iron Man. And there's
Team Cap. I win.
Yeah, right. The reason is that we will be giving this away on Star Wars Day, Wednesday, May the 4th.
Yeah, and if you say choose, the third option, Team Thor, because of his, long flowing hair, or Team Rocket Raccoon because you too need that guy's arm. Also, give us your reasoning. Get a hold of us. I mean, come on. It's a Star Wars box for Star Wars.
Right. And we do have one entry so far, but we want a lot more. So just tell us if you're Team Cap, Team Iron Man, why, and then when are you going to watch the movie? Something fun, just give it to us, and then you will be entered in to get this crate. I did mail the last one off last Saturday, probably hasn't gotten there yet. And when it does, I'm sure we'll get notification, but we do mail those off as soon as we can after the giveaway is. And Lauren won one once because her entry was the best. So I had to send it to her and she got hers right away. Didn't she?
I won the Ant-Man competition for doing a tiny voice.
There was no beating that. There's no way. So that went there. So yes, please give us your team. Are you team?
Yeah.
What team are you on? But you have to give it to us, and you can't do it in chat here because that's
because we're going to scroll past it fast.
So
give it to us in a memorable way, as in we will remember it
in a way we can look it up in
Twitter or email
in a week,
or calling us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you call us 844-THE-BUS-1. Yeah, that's fine. 844-843-2871. Yep. And we do have a voicemail line. You can do that as well. All right. Haley, are you all set on this contest? Do you know what you would have to do if you were eligible?
I'm eligible. I'm totally eligible.
So you got to compete with Haley, but there you go. All right, we're going to move on to the episode. All right, when I first saw this title, I could only think of Mr. Scott on Star Trek because he was a big Paradise Lost guy, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Come on. He was. He totally was Paradise Lost. All right, so the episode was titled Paradise Lost, and there's a very good reason for it. We'll be talking to that later. This episode was directed by an industry professional. We've loved to talk about her on Arrow. Her name is Wendy Stanzler, and just listen to this resume. All right. One episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was her first Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode. However, she's done 2 of Sleepy Hollow, 6 of Arrow, 1 of The Flash, 1 of Gotham, 3 of Revenge, 1 of The Tomorrow People, 3 of Glee, 4 Parks and Recreation.
I just saw she did like some of my favorite eps of Parks and Recreation. I've seen Flu Season like a million times.
Oh, right. So good.
5 episodes of Pretty Little Liars. I had to put that in there for my daughter.
Okay.
4 episodes of Vampire Diaries. 1 No Ordinary Family. 5 90210s. 5 Desperate Housewives. 4 Grey's Anatomies, and a bunch more. But her very first directing credit was an episode of Sex and the City. So she's been around for a while, done some amazing shows, and she was pulled in to do a really good one. And it was written by a pair of really newcomers, George Kinson and Charlotte Oliver. And really, this is their first Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode. But Lauren, what else did they do?
Okay, so I am looking at the writing credits. They did a short that we had to look up because we all somehow missed this, called Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Double Agent. And before
what would
the show,
any of us know about Marvel stuff?
It turns out it was an ABC Go or whatever the web exclusive thing is that they did last year. It was a 5-episode web exclusive thing about a double agent loose on the set of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm going to have to go back and find this now.
That's right. So there was that. And also Charlotte did an episode of Under the Dome, which is one of Steven's favorite television shows of all time. That is Steven John Drew. He is the owner of the GonnaGeek.com network. So this episode was put together by some amazing people, and it was indeed amazing. So, Haley, where do you want to start with this episode?
I want to start with May happy that Ward's alive because that means she gets to kill him. That's where I would like to start.
That's right. I forgot. So it was a big ongoing thing of who's going to kill Ward. We talked about that about a year ago.
And they've set it up so that everyone can have a chance to kill Ward.
It's brilliant. Just keep killing him. It'll just keep coming back until everybody has had a chance. It's amazing.
Oh. Who do you think is going to be the most dramatic? I think it's going to be Daisy, but it could be May too. I don't know.
Simmons. Or Fitz could be good.
Simmons would be a really good one.
Could you imagine them teaming up with the Secret Warriors? And it's a combination of inhuman powers and science. And we get some sort of super awesome, like, blood explosion.
Yeah. Blood explosion. That's always good. It would be
terrible if they got one of these new characters to come in and do it. It'd be like the governor's death in the comic book.
Or the governor's death in the show, The Walking Dead.
Well, in the show, it's not that bad because you get introduced to the character. In the comic book, it's just some random Woodburyan who you don't even know their name.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers if you haven't read issue 16 of The Walking Dead.
Or watch the show, which I'm no longer watching The Walking Dead. I'm also no longer watching Tyrion's Landing. Pretty much the same reasons.
You mean Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Tyrion's Landing's the podcast.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I do actually skim through Tyrion's Landing, but yes, Game of Thrones. I'm not planning on watching anymore.
It's gonna be so good this season though, because it's gonna be so much new stuff.
That's true. Like off the books new, because the books haven't been written on this.
This is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been looking at the whole show so it's basically like an alternate universe fanfic, and this is kind of the part where it veers towards the alternate universe fanfic-iest part, and I'm okay with it.
Right now they're doing like the the between the lines part of the story. Like they're mostly staying on track, but they're doing some other stuff that they want to do. And now it's like, I'm doing my own fic.
We got our own. We're gonna do it. Although, didn't he? Who's it? Not J.R.R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin. Didn't he tell like two people how it all ends? So they actually have to converge on that at the end.
They know part of the ending. They don't know the whole ending.
Okay.
According to him, there's something he kept for the books that he didn't tell them.
Go figure. Yeah. So he's not.
Like I said,
disposable.
they're basically doing a fanfic, and okay, whatever.
All right.
So speaking of fanfic, I just want to see like everybody merge all their superpowers and abilities together, like in Care Bear stare style, and like take out Ward.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like
too.
that would be an amazing series.
That would
finale.
be awesome.
Right. Well, we got
It's like Mac with the power of shotgun axe,
the Max
and Daisy
the
with the
Max.
power of Quake, and Fitz and Simmons with the power of science, and Coulson with the power of robot arm.
And May with the power of hate foo.
Yes. Right. At the end of the episode, we got the Secret Warriors version of Avengers Assemble. The call went out in the Apple Watches. They're all coming together.
Yeah, I love. Okay, so in the comics, the Avengers have this little like credit card looking thing that alerts them to when it's time to assemble.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
They did the same thing in the cartoon.
Yeah. And here it's like just an Apple Watch. And it's
just an Apple Watch.
Because wearables are the all new rage.
pretty much.
Everyone show us your wearable. Oh,
yep.
Wait a second.
Oh, donate. So, listener, watcher, if you want to donate
Hold on.
a couple of Apple Watches to each of us, one in each size, the 38 millimeter and the 42 millimeter, so we can try them both out.
Let's see which one fits better. Yeah.
You can email me at stargatepioneer@GonnaGeek.com. Right. So the episode starts in the 1970s. So this is still after I'm born. We haven't reached the part where before I'm born. I guess Peggy Carter would be in the era before I'm born, but just a little bit. Anyway,
just a smidge.
So
He's
in
really old
1970, we see the Malik
There we go.
boys.
I totally know.
So, podcast listener, what you don't know is that Lauren just grabbed a Sharpie and put her Avengers Assemble or Secret Warriors sign on her
It's supposed
arm.
to say assemble, but mostly it just looks like I wrote ass and then I held it upside down on the camera anyway.
And that's in Sharpie, so that ass is going to be on your arm for quite some time.
It comes off with, I was going to say ethanol, but I mean, just any alcohol, really.
All right. So, the Malik boys, did we know that Gideon had a brother? Did we know this?
No, but wasn't that the guy that we saw months ago? That wasn't the guy that went through the portal then?
No, because that was back in like
the Victorian age.
Oh, that's right.
And Malik and Gideon is not that old, Haley. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's
been a while since I saw that
they-
episode.
Yeah. I also liked the return of Whitehall.
Yes.
that
one
was
thing.
awesome. The boys had to go see Whitehall in prison, and he looked as young as ever.
And they're like, old man.
Yeah, look at you now, Gideon. Oh, and what Hive did to Gideon's daughter, that's his niece.
So I was watching, and you know, they have him throwing the thing in the pond and him staring, and Gideon staring at it like, oh man. And I'm there thinking like, oh, it's something profound about like, you know, the ripples of like an action and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's the flashbacks where they find the stone, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be you know, something it's they're gonna go through and his brother's gonna get it by accident or something. And then no, it's worse than that.
It is totally worse.
It turns out that Gideon chickened out at the last minute and kept that stupid notched stone in, and so that he knows which one to keep.
He never answered the question, is it survival to Gideon or is it intentional sacrifice of his brother? Which one is it? He never answered.
He was saving his own ass.
I think he was saving his own ass.
All right. Well, and in the process, Hive killed his daughter. I mean, what's up? I guess Hive doesn't care because he's going to kill all mankind anyway, right?
But then because he keeps that memory inside of him and he has all of that, I mean, I don't know if it's that part of him that's like angry about it still, like if that little part of him lives on, and if that little part of Gideon's brother, Nathaniel, has been angry about that for like, I don't know, 50 years, or if it's just a Hive using those memories to more effectively manipulate and crush Gideon.
So we all saw what happened in the end, but when they're at the pond and Hyde is asking Gideon, is there something you want to ask? I think that might have played out right then, but then of course the daughter wouldn't have been killed and Stephanie needed to die. Yep, she did. I think she would have been more useful to Hive than Gideon. It's just my play.
I feel like they introduced her just to kill her.
Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, I needed to bring this up because, over the past week, there's been like a weird number of female characters killed off on TV.
I've heard.
Like yesterday, it's 12. 12 female characters.
Really?
Yes. Including the main character of a show that I used to really, really love. And yeah,
what happened on Arrow last week, by the way, has driven my daughters nuts. I have heard nothing but that from them, and they keep on bitching about it with good cause. I mean, I'm right there with them. I'm like, they did a stupid thing. I have no idea. I said my piece on Starling Tribune, so if you want to hear about what happened on Arrow last week, go to the Starling Tribune this week, and you'll hear all that. But the point is, yes, 12? Okay, so...
Yeah, there's like 2 on a show that I watch died last Thursday. One main character on a show that I used to watch died on Friday. There was the character from Arrow. There was some characters on, I think, Empire or something.
Wow.
So it was 11 as of yesterday morning. And then with this, I'm like, I guess we're up to 12 now.
And Michelle Ely in the chat saying, and the lesbian count among that is high too.
That's a trope in TV that as soon as you put the lesbian in a happy relationship, you have to kill one of them.
Yes. Yep. Sadly, it is in fact a trope. It's if you go to bury your gays on TV trope, it's a thing.
Alrighty.
But yeah, I just kind of needed to address it because I started thinking yesterday, if Stephanie had been Steven, how would we have handled that? And it still would have been really upsetting because he's still using this whole thing of the next generation and progeny to get back at Gideon, but he wouldn't have gone about it in the same way, I don't think, because there's that whole kissing Stephanie, which I mean, he could have done, but you don't necessarily think that way right now on TV when you see 2 guys together, unless they had established that, beforehand that character's gay. So there's that weird, sort of sexual thing going on there, which
also, by the way, kind of incestuous.
Part of her uncle's in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Ew. Uncle.
So there's that weird like vulnerability there, and that weird sexual thing there, and that kind of like even more vulnerability of daughter father relationships, and the whole daddy's girl and stuff like that,
right?
Which a father son relationship is perceived as very different from.
So was it last week that Coulson was saying it just got weirder? Was it that last week?
I think so.
I think it was last week. Yeah. So yeah, it just continues to get weird. Congratulations, Marvel. You're doing a great job with that. And yeah, what was going on in the agro plant? These birds and these bees, they were all being controlled by Hive, maybe? Bees. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. I really don't.
No, but we have to keep tabs on it because they all still revolve around what Hive's plan is to decimate this world. And Simmons said it again, in case it didn't need to be said again, when she said it, that, oh, by the way, this is a guy who killed off an entire planet.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's got something to do with the fact that they were genetically modifying things, and these are Hive animals, kind of, flocking birds and hives of bees and things like that. So I think that's going to tie into whatever the master plan is.
Huh.
And don't forget, Gideon has still seen his own death. He didn't see his daughter's death, and she's dead, but he did see his death.
Which is a point in favor of what I said last week about people seeing their own deaths when they touch that guy.
Except the first time Skye saw the other guy's death.
Oh, that's true.
No, she thought she saw her death, though.
Right, she thought it was her death, but it wasn't.
Right. Oh, so you're saying Gideon might think he saw
so
his
it
death,
might
but
not
it
be
wasn't?
Gideon's death. It might be somebody else's. And he just doesn't realize it.
That's you must be an analyst or something.
Because we saw his skin coming off.
So
I mean, unless they stop it at the last minute,
It was just blood
then
on his
he'd just
face,
be walking
wasn't it?
around skinless.
Well, I mean, it is Marvel. That does happen.
Wouldn't be the first time.
The comics had
True.
Zombie Sitwell, so it happens.
I mean, we did have Red Skull. Maybe he's like Red Skull Part 2.
Could be.
Oh my God, that would actually be really cool.
That's right. So Daisy and Lincoln end up in South Dakota to go see a buddy, which wants to be an Inhuman, and they aren't going to let him become an Inhuman, but they still want his knowledge. And basically, they get a ball. It's like a T-sphere or something. What is that thing? Help me out here. Is that in the comics somewhere?
I don't know.
It's an orb.
It's another orb
of unknown origin. Actually, it's from Kree or whatever. But Daisy,
maybe it's another Infinity Stone.
Oh, good thinking there. Daisy,
maybe this one's a Infinity. I don't know geology well enough to make a good joke here.
Right, but yeah, we didn't see the gem's color if it was
Infinity
a stone.
sediment.
It was encased. So
right.
Daisy,
Well, because in Guardians of the Galaxy, it was kept in a case too. We didn't see the color until later.
Mm-hmm.
And when the case came out, then the whole place exploded. And then the Collector?
Yeah.
Is that his name? The Collector sitting down in his exploded shop. Yeah, that was good. Daisy does have an incredible ability to clear landmines. That was cool.
That was cool.
And scared the crap out of James. He should be scared. That's some nasty stuff.
I mean, that's really useful. I mean, that's how, honestly, if you're going to do like the whole goodwill thing, that's how you sell it. Right now we have the hero rats sniffing out landmines and stuff in uncleared areas, which is, by the way, really worth looking into. Look this up. Hero rats. They are Gambian pouched rats. They're about the size of like a cat. And they go around and they're light enough so that they don't set off landmines, but they're very easily trained. And they sniff out landmines and tuberculosis. And they're amazing. But what Daisy can do is they're just like, oh, here's an area. And she's like, okay, everyone back. Bam. Everything explodes. It's all good.
Yep.
And that is how you be like, look, we're helping. See, hire me for public relations.
That's exactly, yeah, Marvel or any PR firm.
Also, you can make money off of it by hiring telling like movie directors and stuff, hey, we're going to be doing this day. You can come film it at like a discounted rate even.
I think if
I'm doing a public service.
If I was a filmmaker, I'd want to see more of her abilities though.
No, but you film the explosions for like stock footage and stuff.
Right.
Exploding
But if you knew how it was being done, you'd want to use that power for.
Oh no, they know how it's being done. It's just, the impressive part is the explosions.
All right. Not going to win this, but okay.
That's right. You know why? Because Star Pie is always wrong.
That's not true. It's not true.
True,
Star
guys.
Pie thinks Batman versus Superman is a pile of crap. So there you go.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'm not always wrong. Okay. Giro. Is that his name? Gira,
who I will forever think of as Chairman Mark.
He's a badass mofo.
Okay.
Takes down the entire team and escapes one of those white boxes.
I am so glad we got a chance to see him do this. Have you ever seen the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf?
No.
Okay. If you want to see Mark DeCassos being badass like this also, go watch that movie.
Okay.
It's in French. It's amazing.
Wing would probably like it. Wing's probably seen it already.
It's amazing, and Mark Dacascos is great in it. And it's
Okay.
about werewolves.
So he does all sorts of great stuff. He gets out with a seatbelt, wedging a seatbelt in the little clasp in the door and just turning it to wedge the door open. He gets out, takes out the entire team, makes the plane land in Gideon's castle. And so maybe Zephyr's not going to make it. Maybe we'll have to go to the bus again. That's my thing. They're getting rid of Zephyr just because they know we need to go back to the bus. Yep. And then Sky, Daisy, and Lincoln have to assemble the Secret Warriors. But Gira, just incredible. He's unstoppable. It's amazing they even tricked him to get him in the box in the first place. So he's the only one that's been able to escape one of those white boxes.
I want them to get him on their side.
The box?
I don't think they're going to.
I know, but that would be amazing to have Mark Dacascos as a Secret Warrior.
Oh.
No,
to get him out of Hive's control.
What will happen is, at the end, when there's the big boss battle, whoever doesn't get to kill Ward will kill him.
Yeah, that's true.
He's right where he needs to be.
He's Lieutenant Bad Guy. He will be killed by somebody who's not good enough to kill Ward.
But I want him to join the Secret Warriors.
Everybody has a redemption arc, right? Even Lauren, even Haley.
There's probably going to be a vacancy on the Secret Warriors before the end of the season. So
probably. Oh, yeah.
I have some stuff to say about that.
All right. Well, let's talk about that because Daisy finally reveals what she saw, which was the space shot again, which is probably a Quinjet that's in space. But you have the Yo-Yo's necklace. You have a shield patch, and it looks like a female arm. It could be a guy, like it could be Fitz. I don't know. But it looks like a female arm because it's slender with the patch on there. And we know it's not Bobby because she's off the show and she's got her own show. So it's not her. It's not Hunter because he's on that same show. So who do you think's in the ship?
I almost wonder if it's Empty Suit and this has all just been a red herring. But I would say probably the new Secret Warrior, whose name I don't remember.
Yo-Yo?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She's in the comics, by the way, we've called her Slingshot, whatever, but she is in the comics, and we just went over it on Longbox edition this week, Adam did with Secret Warriors number 11, and Yo-Yo comes back in the comic. So Yo-Yo's been around in the comics before, and yeah, it could be her. I was thinking it might be Stephanie, but it's not Stephanie Malik, but she's dead, so it's not her.
Already dead. I don't think it'll be Simmons because they kind of killed her at the end of last season. Mm-hmm. So they got to do something new.
Mm-hmm. So just like they introduced Stephanie to kill her, you're thinking they introduced Yo-Yo to kill her?
But then they had the cross right there, so that would be too obvious.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's not going to be May. She's too integral to the show.
I'm really worried that it's either Sky or May. Daisy or May.
I know, but it feels like this whole show has been Daisy's story. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially, okay. So I've been watching and live tweeting the Marvel Week thing that Jimmy Kimmel's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Clark Gregg was on last night.
Okay.
And they were it was a really fun interview, by the way. And they're talking about it, and they mentioned they were like, yeah, so do they let you know in advance all this stuff? And they're like, he's like, yeah, they don't even let us know when we're gonna die or anything. It's mostly just executives show up and you're just like, don't look at him. And they're like, has that happened lately? And Clark Gregg just kind of stutters. Yeah. And he's like, well, it's going to be an emotional season. So
great.
Things are going to be bad.
Honestly, Mac would be the one I would be most worried about, except that was obviously too small to be Mac's arm.
Yeah. Well, what kind of family members have we had lately? We had Mac's brother. Again, his arm's too big. Who else?
We had
May's husband, but
yeah.
May's father, you mean?
No, husband.
No, well,
we saw
at the beginning of the season, but no, her husband.
Oh, yeah, but
Andrew.
I don't know. Well, we do have some episodes left, so it might be somebody that we haven't seen yet. But
that's kind of cheap because again, you're introducing characters just to kill them.
Yeah.
It's like you want your show to have the weight of a character's death, but you don't actually want to kill any of your characters. So you just here's a new red shirt.
Yeah, this is something that we've done on Starling Tribune all year long until last week of Arrow. Is they showed us that scene. It was a graveside scene. They showed it to us at the very beginning of the season. So we're like, oh, somebody's going to die. And then they did a wonderful job of misdirecting us constantly throughout the next 19 episodes until they showed us who was in the grave. So well done for the Arrow team. I completely disagree with their decision, but it's not like I'm going to change anything. Nobody's going to change anything. It's done. It is what it is. And time for everybody to move on if you can. Now, it might cause some people to leave the show. I don't know. So in here, they haven't shown us anything else. It's just been Yo-Yo's necklace and a shield patch on a slender arm. And that's been it the entire time. There's been no other misdirection other than it showed up at the same time that Yo-Yo showed up. So
it's Black Widow. They're killing Scarlett Johansson from the Marvel Cinematic Universe on an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Heck, it might.
Can you imagine the outcry?
Oh, if it's Agent 13, I will be pissed.
No, it's Jane Foster. That's why she's not in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh.
Like, she would come on a TV episode for that. Anyway.
She's like, what? This means I don't have to do any more of the movies? Fine, you can have me for 4 minutes.
They have done short crossovers before with Nick Fury. So we'll see. All right. Lauren, what else you got for this episode that we haven't covered already?
I really like the whole Paradise Lost thing because, like, the thing that everyone remembers about Paradise Lost is the line, it's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven, which is basically right now what, like, the whole Hive and Gideon thing is going on, because Hive got kicked off of Earth way back in the day. So you can kind of think of him being on Maveth, the planet, as the whole reigning in hell, because people were sacrificing to him. It's kind of great for him, except for the whole being stuck there part.
Yeah, it was a one-way trip.
Yeah. And right now, like, Gideon Malik thought he was, reigning in hell because he's the highest ranking person of Hydra left. Mm-hmm. Now it turns out that Gideon is serving in hell, sort of.
Why would Gideon continue to try to bring back this guy where, well, I guess he didn't know that Nathaniel was going to be a part of him.
Well, also, it's made really clear that his family has been, it's this religious kind of worship that's been going on for generations in his family. So it's like being raised in a cult.
Mm-hmm. And again, Michelle Ely put in the chat, family tradition. It's tradition.
He didn't want to kill his brother. It was just, if it was him or his brother, he was going to sacrifice his brother. So this was a way to get his brother back if they were right.
Yeah.
Plus, if you go back and you look at people who were raised in cults, people who, these cults that believe really weird things, where you're like, how would you even think that? But if that's all they're raised to believe, and they're raised it like in this really insular community, I mean, that is all they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Michelle points out something great again. It's interesting to note that all members of Hydra did not necessarily believe in this particular quest.
Yeah, we see that schism between, like, the Whitehall Nazi Hydra and the weird cult Cthulhu Hydra.
Mm-hmm. Right. What was the project? I was trying to remember that today. The project name that NASA put together to put the guys on Maveth.
Wasn't Paperclip, because that's...
No. Was it New Something?
I can't remember. I'll have to go back and take a look at that. It's not New Horizons, because that's like a real thing.
Okay.
We'll have to look into that. I want to say Viking. It's like Voyager.
Distant Star Return.
Yeah, Distant Star. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Project Pegasus. No, wait, no, that's a different thing. That was from the MCU.
Okay.
Like the
So,
Loki.
Lauren, anything else for the episode? You know, there's this wonderful little thing called Notes, which you can do on your phone.
Yeah, but I never.
I know you're live tweeting, which you did a great job of live tweeting, by the way. And for those listening to the show later, Lauren does a live tweet during the episode Tuesday nights, whatever we're watching. And then she's also, because we're also covering Jessica Jones, she's also doing the live tweet of Jessica Jones on Monday night. So catch her on our Twitter. That's at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And you will find all the great live tweets going on. And she gets on. You have been pulling in some amazing people into conversations, including last night, people that didn't even watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, I found one more Paradise Lost connection here. You can make the connection that James, the Australian guy living out in South Dakota, is also kind of a Satan figure in that he didn't want to serve in heaven afterlife. So he left to reign in hell, South Dakota. But even then, he still didn't get the power. So it just sucks to be him.
It figures a Texan would call South Dakota hell.
No, it's figurative. I've never been to South Dakota. I can't say one way or the other.
I've been there. The Badlands are Badlands, but the Black Hills are just absolutely gorgeous, as is Mount Rushmore.
See, I was going to say, when I was watching, that place looks like Central Texas.
And don't forget, in Mitchell, South Dakota, there is a palace made out of corn. So catch that. Mitchell, South Dakota.
Palace?
Yeah, the Corn Palace. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's also, it's really the home of where Laura Ingalls Wilder really grew up in DeSmet, South Dakota. So you can catch all the museums and stuff there. Also Walnut Grove in Minnesota. And also Wisconsin, where the big house the little house in the big woods. And apparently she finally settled in Missouri. So there's lots of places where you can catch Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Well, yeah, because her family was one of those pushing west type families. That's what the whole series is about, is how her family keeps moving.
Because they could never make it where they were. So they kept on going because the government was giving free land. So they tried to make it in a new
literal
place.
palace made of corn. You weren't kidding.
No, I'm not. There
are a few things he takes serious in his life, but corn palaces are one of them.
There you go. It's great. It's got different color of natural colored corn, and they made the palace out of it. So,
y'all, I'm so boggled by this. This is weird.
Okay, so South Dakota is not hell.
Okay,
but the religious overtones, you I believe, are reading exactly into it at the higher level what they're giving us, because they've already discussed this with the Inhumans and Mac and everything. So you're reading some amazing stuff into this, which I believe is very valuable.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. So Haley, anything else with the episode? And I assume you have some quotes as well.
I don't have anything else. I do have quotes.
Okay, what do you got?
You didn't kill him hard enough.
That's right, May. That was great.
Plus side, maybe I'll get a chance to kill him too.
Yep, that's true.
We don't have leaders. We're working towards a common goal.
No, I think they think it's common, but it's not.
That's what everybody in a cult says.
That's right. I forgot about that line.
That's it for this. That's it for the quotes.
And in the chat, Ray is pointing out that his parents stopped at the Corn Palace on their honeymoon.
Where else are you going to go on a honeymoon?
Does the inside have corn furniture? I mean,
do they serve corn for dinner?
Yeah.
Popcorn, cream corn.
Corn in a cup? I mean, what?
There's also,
if you have a corn fireplace, does it automatically start making popcorn?
Also, so as you drive from east to west into South Dakota, the very first sign that you get in South Dakota is 408 miles to Wall Drug. It is in the Black Hills, and it's just this big, huge tourist trap. But there you go, Wall Drug. And people that have been there put bumper stickers on their RVs.
Of course they do.
Yeah. American life. Get out there, experience
And I can't say anything. We got a town called Cut and Shoot near me.
Yeah.
An old dime box.
Texas is a country literally unto its own. All right. So that is it for this week of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Paradise Lost. Next week, we have a great episode titled The Team. So we'll find out who the team is. I assume they're talking about the Secret Warriors, but we'll find out that next week. In the meantime, we have an episode of Jessica Jones to get through. So, Lauren, we have an episode of Jessica Jones to get through. What do you got for us?
Yes, we do. Okay, so the episode is mostly Kilgrave being the worst.
No.
Okay, so we have Kilgrave just being awful at Jessica's childhood home. We have a couple of minor flashbacks to her childhood and the accident that she was in. We have Simpson being useless. And probably my favorite part of the episode was Jessica trying to just kind of getting some use out of Kilgrave's powers and then turning against him because he is the worst and she knows that.
Okay, question. Yeah. At the beginning, somebody mentioned the smell of some fentanyl. And
I believe I mentioned the taste.
The taste,
yes.
Yeah. Does it taste? Is it odorless?
Okay.
Is it tasteless, or is there something with it?
I think I know what he means. Every time I've ever been anesthetized, I get this taste in the back of my mouth. It's like this metallic taste, and I realize it tastes kind of like the stuff that I used to eat when I was a kid, pepper grass. It's like this peppery, metallic taste.
Is it really grass?
Yeah, it's a plant.
Okay. So you're just not going out to the yard and grazing?
No, not grazing, but it's this particular type of plant that you can actually pick these little like seed pods off and eat them, and they're pretty good.
Okay.
But every time I'm injected with like a sedative, like I used to have to get injections in my lower back. I like within seconds of it, I can taste it in the back of my mouth. And I think that's probably what he meant. Like the second that it just entered his bloodstream, he gets this taste.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess his tastes sweet instead of like pepper grass.
I remember when I used to donate plasma, the stuff they put in it so that the things your blood wouldn't clot in the tubes. Yeah, it gave you a coppery taste in your mouth.
Okay, so just to start off a little bit, back up a second. This episode was directed by Simon Sellen Jones, the same person that directed the previous episode. He directed actually 9 episodes of Jessica Jones, 6 episodes of Klondike, 4 episodes of Magic City, 3 episodes of The Politician's Husband, 3 episodes of How to Make It in America, and many, many, many more. So the guy is known for the cerebral sort of episodes. And it was written by Scott Reynolds, who did, get this. Are you ready for this? 13 episodes.
Okay.
13 episodes of Iron Fist.
Rumored, but yes.
It's in his IMDb, so I don't know if that's rumored or not. 4 episodes of Jessica Jones, 2 episodes of The Following, and 11 episodes of Dexter. So kind of an experienced crew.
And it shows this was a good episode. There wasn't this is probably the one that it was hardest for me to find anything funny to tweet about, just because when I was watching, I was like, this is all just textbook abusive behavior. So I felt like just doing a PSA that night, I guess. Like, here's an hour-long PSA about what to look for in abusers. But there were actually some funny parts, kind of. Like Kilgrave making a Star Wars reference.
I know, Obi-Wan. Move along. It was great. And he not only said it, but then he referenced it. He just didn't leave it alone.
Right.
That was great. And then the nosy neighbor on the back patio, I mean, like, she was really a bad person, and he called her out on it. And then Jessica's
there's somebody like that in every small town in the country.
Yeah. It's that person who's really like petty. Like not like evil, just like really petty and kind of
Just a small
over Sherry and
person.
trying to, a small person. That's it exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, Haley, what was your major takeaways from the episode?
It was a look into probably a lot of what Jessica's life was like the last time she was with Kilgrave. And it was depressing. I think this is probably the most depressing episode.
One of them. I mean...
in this one and the next one where they try and make you feel for Kilgrave. And you're like, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not going to do it because he's the worst.
In this episode, we actually get to see, like, the car accident. We see everything that transpired from that point on. And the time that she woke up in her bed and her mom came in and her dad was there and her brother came in. And I was like, what is going on here? I was wondering if she was drugged or something, but it must have just been her senses that were triggered by being in the same house, I guess. And the fact that she drank a heck of a lot the night before in a very rapid time span. And she saw them. But the grossest scene was when they were standing there, and obviously it was like right after the accident with the blood just all splattered on their face and everything. It was like, oh,
hooray, guilt and PTSD.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Oh, that was just bad. But we see what happened, and we see the fact that Jessica is actually partly, although as a driver, I would say you're not supposed to. As a driver that has had multitudes of kids, dogs, and fights and whatever going on in the car at the same time, you're supposed to ignore it. And that's why you see family vehicles pull over to the side of the road from time to time. Kids get sick. They have to go to the bathroom. And yes, there are fights. And of course, breakdowns as well. But the fights are the big thing where everybody just gets out of the car, they simmer down, and they are safe before they get back on the car. And you know what happened? I saw it on the news this morning. There was a cat that got loose, or maybe it was yesterday. There was a cat that got loose in somebody's car. Caused a 4-car high-speed accident with the cat being loose in the car. So
there's actually a whole bunch of accidents every year caused by loose insects in vehicles because people start freaking out and doing this. And
I know I left the cabin at one point in time, and we were like 2 hours down the road, and my son, who was sitting next to me in the car, he looked over, hey, what's that? And I looked down, there's a tick crawling up my shirt. I was like, oh my God, you can get Lyme disease for that sort of thing. And actually a friend of ours on the network got Lyme disease, we're thinking probably from a tick. And his name's Kier, by the way, in defense of, he runs that, and a co-host of Haley on Gallifrey Public Radio on Doctor Who, both found at GonnaGeek.com. Anyway, there's a tick crawling up me, and I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, yeah. It was the one time I took my hands off the wheel going high speed. My son grabbed the wheel, and he's like, Dad! And he was old enough to do that.
I just say, I think that's the farthest you've ever reached to do a plug.
I didn't even mean to. I was like, well, we're here. Might as well do it. So anyway.
Hey, let me pull over on the side of the road real quick. And
yeah, do the plug and then get the tick off. And I was like,
do the plug and then get the tick off.
Oh, man, the tick.
I like the priority there.
And so I rolled the window down, and I think I flicked the tick out, but I didn't. It was actually on my pants, but we had to stop, and we fully evacuated the car, made sure it was no longer. I had no idea.
Yeah. You're like a lot more responsible. Okay, my sister and I used to get into actual fist fights in the car because she would insist on sitting in the middle seat of the back seat because she's like, it's safer. And I'm like, you're 4. You don't know this. You don't know how to read. You don't know. You can't have heard this anywhere, and it's not true anyway.
Yeah, but we weren't driving.
She would be there. She'd be there getting in my space. And I'm like, move. And then we just start hitting each other and pinching each other. And this is at the same age where I used to bite people because my cousin convinced me I was a werewolf when I was little.
Used to?
And,
Used to? Don't you still do that?
No.
Okay.
No. But,
thought that was one of your
my parents never pulled over that I remember, but there was a lot of yelling. And then mostly we were just grounded when we got home.
You never got I'm going to stop this car, or I'm going to turn this car around. You never got that?
No, but there is like, if you don't stop that now, you're going to get such a spanking when we get home.
Yeah, well.
And then usually we would just be there like hissing at each other in the back seat and then start pinching, trying not to let it show in the rearview mirror.
Were there not creases in the back seat so you could say, don't go over this line? even though she was in the middle?
I tried, and she still would. I was just trying to sit there and read, and she was horrible. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to my little sister.
Stop punching me. It's 30 years ago.
We get along so well now that we live like in completely different cities.
All right. But so to get back to Jessica Jones, Jessica is partly responsible for the accident because of the Game Boy being thrown around and the dad having to turn around, not seeing the truck stop and then slamming into the truck.
Have to turn around. He should have kept his eyes on the road.
Yeah, that's why there's another parent in the car.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. The other parent turns around and starts hitting with the shoe.
Well, and if you're the only parent, you don't blindly slap behind you.
Y'all don't do the shoe?
Yeah, my parents didn't take off their shoes. But they did blindly slap behind them so they could keep their eyes on the road.
It extends your reach. The shoe is useful.
Yeah, but you've got to take your shoe off.
Yeah, but that you're sitting down, so it's not far.
My parents weren't that flexible.
Did we break SP?
The shoe. Oh, geez. I'm trying to remember
the chancla.
if
Y'all
we ever used the shoe.
Know the chancla?
I don't think we did. But I think things were thrown, but I'm not sure. I think it might have been something light just to get their attention or something, because we had the rear DVD system, still do, and they would be watching that. And I learned very quickly, you just shut it off and then you get their attention. They're like, what did you do? Or this also works. Turning the lights on in broad daylight will dim the thing so they can't see it anymore. So then they take off their earphones and go, Dad, we can't see it. Okay, so.
See, these days you have to resort to psychological warfare against the kids.
You do, because you can't use violence. That's child endangerment or something like that. So you gotta do psychological stuff. You gotta be Kilgrave. You gotta parent like Kilgrave would. What would Kilgrave do?
Oh no.
All right. So
okay, now that we've thoroughly discussed
the car accident, yes.
Yeah.
All right. But it's terrible. And she's having to relive all this stuff, including for the first time, she sees the writing on the wall for the Heights, and especially Phillips at age 10.
Yeah, because that's like really driving home that he never got any taller.
Right.
She's just looking down at it, and it's just horrible.
It is. And really the whole thing. And Jessica's decision that she has to come to this episode where she realizes that Kilgrave is an instrument that she could possibly be focusing on good, but then she'd have to be there to shape it every single second.
She would be chaining herself to him.
And also she would be condoning what his powers are, which is to take away somebody's free will.
That too.
And that she brings it up in this episode, by the way, I believe at the beginning, she's talking, don't ever touch me. Not only did you rape me, but you violated me. And she is not talking about physical stuff there. She is talking about everything that he did to her. And he's like, what? He doesn't understand what rape is. He's like, what? You were in 5-star hotels. We did stuff that you wanted to do. Yeah, but you were making her do all that. You were making her tell you what she wanted to do. And that's just it. It's just,
and that I feel was a really important thing to bring up this episode. I tweeted out this link in the live tweet. There was a study done a few years ago where they asked a whole bunch of people, have you ever raped anybody? And, most people say no. But then when they were like, well, have you ever had sex with a girl while she was passed out drunk? Have you ever continued to have sex with a girl? Have you ever like badgered a girl into sex, stuff like this, and all the stuff that is rape, but that they, the popular conception of rape is, jumping out of the shrubs, grabbing somebody,
violent stranger rape.
Yeah. Violent stranger rape. And a lot more people answered yes to those questions than anybody should really be comfortable with.
Right.
And it's that sort of thing that I think it was really important that this episode address. And I think that they did very well. The whole, how am I supposed to know? You never said no.
Yeah, you put somebody in a situation where they can't say no, and then when they don't say no, that's consent.
Yeah, it's not consent. It's just trying to survive.
Right. Somebody else that's just trying to survive. I think she's being vindictive on purpose because she feels hurt and she's trying to hurt her wife. I guess that's what it's called, wife back with a same-sex female couple. Okay, so Wendy is trying to hurt Jerry back because Jerry's hurting her. I mean, even flaunting her secretary right in front of her the whole time during the meeting. And she's saying stuff like, so say I'm sorry with cash, or I'm going to have you say I'm sorry with cash. And then with the email that comes in saying, meet my demands or everybody's going to know that you did jury tampering. She is hard over on this.
I feel like she wouldn't have done that if
Jerry hadn't been such a terrible person.
If Jerry hadn't been such a terrible person, but also she feels like her life was legitimately in danger because she interpreted Jessica coming to her and knocking her onto the train by accident as a deliberate threat on her life by Jerry via Jessica.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if she actually caused some of this on her own. But I think a little of it was done beforehand because they met at the restaurant and a couple episodes ago. And I think that
there was also that. So she already has that anger and bitterness kind of simmering, and this just solidified it. So she's trying to take back her power in whatever way she can, which right here is blackmailing for cash.
Mm-hmm. So I've got a question about the house, going back to that. Where did all the family pictures come from? Because you don't get those out of photos that a realtor takes. Where did they all come from? So he created the house based on the initial realtor that sold the house. So that's how they got the exact furniture and the exact layouts and the CDs, whatever. Where did
he might have gone to like friends of the family and stuff and just been like, hey, give me any pictures you have of this family.
Yeah.
Could be.
Gone to the original photographer if they were all the professional ones or something.
Yeah, that could be. Some of that stuff is photographers keep for a while just because it's money that they can make years down the road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So super strength and mind control in the same house, which is not as impressive to us as it might have once been, especially with the Avengers, but okay. Oh, the struggle that Jessica has in the second floor with Simpson. Okay, I live in a pretty big house. I can hear everything. It's at night, which the struggle was. I don't care where I am in the house. I will hear something going on in the other part of the house. How could they possibly have not heard this whole struggle? And Kilgrave hears something, but he knows something's going on, but he doesn't.
Magic.
Yeah, okay. Even with a well-insulated house, there's no way you're going to completely isolate that sound. Sorry.
And again, Simpson,
what an idiot.
Not helping. Not helping.
Michelle in the chat says, because plot. Yeah, I know, but that's just a plot thing that I...
Yeah, everyone has that little thing that will always bug them. With me, it's usually something biology related.
Mm-hmm.
Bad science.
With SP, it's structures.
No, with me, it's Batman versus Superman. So... Also, Alva and Laurent, those poor people. Oh,
yeah,
poor people. I hope they get out. And I can't remember for the rest of the series. I think they get out after the 12 hours.
They're never shown again. So let's just assume they live because something happy has to happen at some point.
I just feel terrible for every person that just happens across Kilgrave's path and has their life ruined because of him. He's
like
the worst.
So when Kilgrave's like, don't blink until she gets home, immediately blinks. I don't know if you noticed, he immediately blinked.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't imagine that. You tried doing it for just 30 seconds.
Oh no. Okay. So there's a horror movie that I saw a couple years ago called The Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Okay.
And at the very, very end of the movie, there's a part where the killer is like, I won't kill you as long as you don't blink. And the woman is just like staring into the camera. It's like a found footage movie. She's just staring into the camera for about 30 to 45 seconds. And it's getting really painful watching her. And finally she blinks and the camera goes black. And it's a horrifying movie. I love horror movies. And this is one that it made me so uncomfortable. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But that part in particular got to me because first of all, it's, putting somebody's death in their own hands, and that's awful to me. And second of all, I've tried not blinking before, and it really hurts after a while.
It does.
Yeah.
So back a couple of decades ago when I was 30, I had the PRK surgery, not LASIK, but PRK. And what they do with PRK is they actually put a ring on your eyeball when you're lying back, and they put an alcohol solution on that ring, which dissolves the eye skin, so that they can laze directly onto the lens in your eye. And it's a really good surgery. It prevents, like with LASIK, that flap that they create when they cut it with a jarring, like an accident, or if you are playing contact sports or whatever, if you have a jar to the head, not only do you have to worry about concussion, but you also have to worry about that flap coming loose, which has happened actually. So they do things like try to bevel the cut and try to get it so that when it heals, it's more of a stronger heal, whatever. One of the ways they get around this is to actually have you grow a complete new eye skin. And how they do this is after the surgery is done, the laser eye surgery, which is the exact same laser as LASIK. It's no different. It's just how they deal with the skin on the eye. Afterwards, they put a contact on your eye, and they give you this gel stuff, and they say, don't take out the contact for a week. It has to be professionally taken out. Now, I've worn contacts before in my life. After a day, it's just not working. So because they get all messy, they get dirty, they get dry, they get scratchy, whatever. Well, you're without eye skin, so you need they're basically Band-Aids, and it was one of the most painful things I've ever had to go through. Had to have a week off of work. I just sat there with my eyes closed as much as I possibly could, had food fed to me or whatever. It was before podcasts too, by the way, so it's not like I had anything to listen to. And I was hopped up on Percocet and Vicodin, so it's not like I was coherent or anything. But that was an awful week. I can't imagine keeping my eyes open even just for a few hours. Just not going to happen. And now
I don't have an eye thing, but that was horrifying.
Yeah, and I ended up with 20/15 vision. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life, but it was a week of horror to get there. Okay. So
cool story, bro. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. You know what, though? I never had a impromptu, what do you call it? The cerebral fluid or the
cerebrospinal fluid leak.
Yeah, I never had that impromptu, like me being pushed over with my dad. And no, never had that. Kilgrave did, though.
Yeah, that's true. The spinal tap, yeah. Those are just unpleasant.
On any given day, might have to have one. Just take some spinal fluid. Yeah, that was bad in the video in this episode.
By the way, it's the weirdest feeling having one of those. I had one, I guess, about a year ago, maybe a little less, and so it feels like somebody is pulling you, but from the inside, it's not a good feeling.
Nope. And there's
I can't. No wonder I mean, to be a kid and have that done. Ugh.
And there's simultaneously a freezing and a burning sensation.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's a weird feeling.
Not good at all. Yeah. So we never hear about Kilgrave's parents until this episode, and we start down that path. We find out where that yellow drive is. It's the videos for this, and it's just, yeah. We will get more in depth on that later, but we're starting to see where he's coming from. All right. Sorry to take over, Lauren, but what else you got?
Let's see. At the very end, they finally get Kilgrave because Jessica's like, yeah, you're never going to change. You're a terrible person. Gotcha. Which was, I cheer. Every time I watch that, I cheer because both in terms of the show and in real life, people rarely change, like, at the core of themselves. And Kilgrave is a terrible, terrible person at his core.
Yep.
So good on her for taking him down.
Right.
Yes.
Kilgrave even says at one point in time, this is crazy. How can you possibly go through life with people doing stuff that you don't want them to do?
Yeah, and then like even when he does do something good, he's like, "Oh, so you're doing it because did you see the way she looked at me?" Like it's not about doing the right thing for doing the right thing. It's for him, it's doing the right thing A because Jessica will stick around, and B because like it's a different kind of power to him.
Mm-hmm. And the whole thing that he deals with Simpson by giving the bomb back to him and his team.
Oh, that was. I mean, I didn't like that lady, but still.
Yeah, there's nothing left of her. She was at ground zero of 2 explosions because the car blew up too, which, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Because plot, yeah.
We also got to see Jessica fly. It's not flying.
Yeah, but... right. She jumped with Kilgrave.
Yep.
That was awesome. Super strength. Haley, what else you got?
One quote. I think that's all I got left. Ready for it?
Yep, I'm ready.
I can't get her to wear a dress for the life of me. I'll wear one to your funeral.
Oh, I loved that. That's our Jessie.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
And she's just like, I'm going to murder you.
So next week we'll be going over Jessica Jones season 1 episode 8, A.K.A. Sin Bin. Until then, we're going to get on to some news. Yeah.
One more thing.
Good.
Just in terms of episode names, I think it's hilarious that we have Paradise Lost and WWJD in the same week.
That's right. They were never meant to be, by the way. This is just the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. schedule.
It's just a funny coincidence.
And it's funny. It's happened because our Jessica Jones rewatch has been pushed back so often.
That's right.
It's a happy coincidence.
Fate.
But next week we'll be getting on to the 8th episode, A.K.A. Sin Bin.
Right. Is it the 8th or the 9th?
It's probably the 9th.
I don't know.
Okay, so
9th, I think.
Next week, we'll be watching Jessica Jones, Season 1, Episode 9, a.k.a. Sin Bin. Yeah. So now, it's time to get on to some news. We got a lot of news this week. Lauren, start us off.
Okay, so everybody get ready. Ready. Luke Cage news.
What do you got?
Okay, the executive producer Chio Hodari Coker is saying that the Luke Cage TV series is going to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe's version of The Wire, which I still haven't seen, even though it's on HBO Go and everything. And I really just need to sit down and watch it. But anyway, it's very well acclaimed. It's very, gritty. The writing's great in it from everything that I've heard, because, again, I still haven't seen it. But, yeah, this interview with NME.com has all these details about what exactly they're trying to go for, what they mean by The Wire. And it has me really excited.
Awesome. I've never seen The Wire either, but I've heard great things about it. So I can't wait to see what Marvel's adaptation of it is as well. All right. Last week, there was, I think it was Friday night, might have been Saturday night. I think, yeah, that's right. It was Saturday night. A lot of cities actually got a pre-screening of Civil War. Now, I actually had a city near me that had the pre-screening, although the tickets were all sold out by the time I got to the website. However, the very next day, we started getting article after article after article about different compilations of reactions based on social media to the movie. And Haley, what did we find out?
It's good. There was not a screening around me. That was not the situation I had.
But it's good.
The exact opposite of what they were saying after the screenings of Batman v Superman. That is what they're saying now.
That's right. It's not like the people that saw it didn't have anything wrong with it, but they had less wrong with it than Batman versus Superman. So I don't know if this is just a telling that people are accustomed to Marvel movies and that's what they think superhero movies should be, or if it's really a dichotomy between the two. I will say, after seeing Batman versus Superman, it wasn't just the tone of the movie. There was a lot more wrong with that movie. And I will be talking about it on the Starling Tribune at some point in time. I do believe that Wing over at Legends Podcast has already had a podcast on his take, which was probably positive. So if you want to hear a positive take on Batman versus Superman, you can go over to Legends Podcast. It's the very next Legends podcast that I have to listen to. So I can't say one way or the other, but that's out there. Anyway, in this particular case, we're not talking about Batman versus Superman. We're talking about Civil War, and everybody's saying that is awesome, and I can't wait. Lauren, did you read all these articles?
I read the article that I read at least one, which was from empireonline.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've seen people who are saying it's not only a good movie, it might be the best Marvel movie yet, which, considering that people said that after like Winter Soldier came out,
mm-hmm.
is giving me even more confidence in the Russo brothers.
Mm.
And from the little, like, very lightly spoiler review that Empire Online has me just even more excited. That plus the little clips that we've been getting with Marvel Week, which, if you're listening live, today, Team Iron Man is on Jimmy Kimmel. I will be live tweeting that in about an hour.
Yep. So we got to finish up and get this one done.
Has me very excited.
On Facebook, we posted one of the articles that came out from Geek Nation, and Carol posted back. I'm definitely excited for this one. And then there's just a ton. There were a ton of articles out about Civil War, but they all basically said the same thing, that it is good, and I can't wait to go see it. I'll probably be buying my. I will probably try to see this as early as possible, so that'll be good. And I think we'll be podcasting on it. Is it May 8th? Haley, I believe, is the night that we're podcast, or the afternoon.
That sounds right, and I can tell you for sure in a minute when I finish vamping and the schedule comes up. Yes, May 8th.
May 8th. So it'll be Sunday, May 8th that we will. We'll probably do it around 2:00 Eastern. We haven't set a schedule yet, so bear with us on that. All right, Doctor Strange, Haley. I know for a fact that right before this podcast you saw it. So what did you think about the trailer?
It looks good. Doctor Strange is not my favorite character, so I'm not looking forward to this one as much as I'm looking forward to some of the other Marvel movies, Captain Marvel. But it looks like they're doing a good job with it. So I'm hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Lauren?
Yeah, again, I was, not all that hyped up about Doctor Strange, but then this trailer makes it look like they're like kind of getting the character. Like, it looks really, really trippy, which, you want the character and the stories involving Doctor Strange to be, because he's all mystical and he goes into, he opens his third eye and sees the weird stuff beyond the physical world. And it looks like they are definitely getting into that.
At first, it looked like a combination of Harry Potter and Inception to me, but it's so much more than that.
It definitely has an Inception-like moment in the trailer.
Well, he's also a man of science that becomes a man of mysticism. So that's going to be a cool way to bring the audience into the magical world of Marvel, is because he's going to be skeptical of it too. So as he's being sold on it, we'll be sold on it.
Yeah, in the trailer, he is purported to be an accomplished, life-saving scientist that has done amazing stuff. So
he's a surgeon.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm glad that they brought up in the trailer. In the comics, he was a surgeon and then lost the use of his hands. And then magic, which I noticed in some of the screenshots that were showing up, I guess, last week. You could see surgery scars in close-ups of his hands. And they really focused on that in the trailer, where you could see the pins holding his hands together after this car accident that he was in. What? I thought it was really good attention to detail. And Michelle Ely points out, bald Tilda Swinton. Yeah, we finally get to see Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, looking suitably weird.
I know. I was like, who is... that character was probably the most... It stood out to me the most in the entire trailer was Tilda Swinton. So I can't wait besides Doctor Strange. So I can't wait to see it. I don't know if I'll be seeing it opening weekend or not. We'll see as we get closer. It's a whole summer away, so we will see. Okay. Next is, I believe this came out maybe the week before we didn't talk about it, is the Spider-Man movie title was kind of leaked, but it stayed what it was leaked as, right?
I thought it came out like yesterday or today that it's official that the title will be Spider-Man Homecoming.
It was leaked about a week ago,
Okay.
but it wasn't official yet. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which I really hope it revolves around like a homecoming dance. Am I alone in this?
Well,
That would be amazing.
Yeah, everybody's saying that it's high school, so it definitely could be that.
Yeah, I want it to be like Mean Girls, but with Spider-Man.
And then my Batman, Michael Keaton, the only one that I will recognize as Batman, is in talks to play a Spider-Man villain.
That could be good.
I don't know. Yeah, who would he play? I kind of want him to play the Vulture just because of Birdman.
Yeah, I know. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Talk about typecasting.
I don't want to see Norman Osborn again. I think
we've done that.
Much.
Well, we've done that, but if the character starts out as high school, we got to go through it at some point in time.
No, you don't. We've done Osborn
No,
to death.
The thing with Spider-Man, there's like a wealth of villains to choose from. Let's go with somebody.
They gave
we
him
haven't
all
seen
the
before.
best villains because he was Stan Lee's favorite character, so we got all the best ones. So use some of them.
Let's give him someone we haven't seen. Let's do the Vulture.
All right.
Or the
Vulture's
Scorpion.
Or the Scorpion. But I always kind of like the Vulture because he's just this weird old guy who flies around.
I did not see this next news story, but I was incredibly giddy when I saw it because I'm really looking forward to this. And I think maybe Lauren put it in the notes. So go ahead, Lauren.
Yes, it did. Okay. Kevin Feige has said, so we are holding him to this, that we will have a director and a cast announcement for Captain Marvel by this summer. So does that mean San Diego Comic-Con? Will that mean before then? I mean,
that would be interesting to have a
I think
Captain Marvel
maybe
panel.
announce it like a week before then so they could do a panel with it at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they could keep it a secret until Comic-Con if they were going to do a panel with them.
I don't know. They kept Loki a secret a couple years ago, but that was just one person.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I want to go back to, weren't we supposed to get a cameo of Captain Marvel in, where was that? Was it Winter Soldier or was it?
No,
the rumor was that we would get her at the end of the Avengers, the last Avengers
Age of
movie.
Ultron. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we were all
allegedly
just really hoping
there was a rumored scene shot and there was a rumored casting. And even if it's not the same actor, I would still like to.
I don't think there was ever any truth to that. I think it was all just hopeful rumor mongering.
All right. In any event, this will be fun to see, and I can't wait for it. And unfortunately, I guess some things Marvel just can't pull together, can they?
So, bit of sad news. Natalie Portman is not coming back for Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, well.
So that's very sad. But on the upside, we have Tessa Thompson joining Thor 3. She was in Creed, which I still haven't seen, but I did see her in Dear White People, where I really did like her performance. So, I mean, I'm all for good cast members. Some people are like, who's she going to play? Maybe she'll play Monica Rambeau, which would be awesome. We need Monica Rambeau in the MCU. But no matter who she plays, I am just really glad that she's joining the MCU.
Yeah, I'm a little sad about this news because I'm actually starting to rock the female Thor in the comics. I'm really starting to get into it. And that's just not going to be a possibility if we don't have Jane Foster. I guess they could recast it or whatever, but spoilers, Jane Foster is the female Thor in the comics right now. But oh well, Tessa will be great, and we'll see where that takes us. And I really don't have high expectations for the Thor Ragnarok movie, but it's got Loki in it, so it's got to be good, right?
Plus, it's directed by Taika Waititi, who is awesome. If you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, watch it. He directed it. He's in it. And it is one of my favorite movies of the past couple years.
So one thing recently that I've seen in the news is that Star Wars has posted their schedule through, as we know it, through 2020 right now. But Marvel keeps shifting stuff around, including Inhumans, right, Haley?
This one doesn't upset me as much as it did when they shifted Captain Marvel around.
Yeah.
But, you know, it kind of annoys me that they were like, oh, we're going to bend over backwards to make sure Sony gets a new Spider-Man movie in the middle of one of our dates. Because, we've had all these Spider-Man movies before, and I could really care less about a new one. But I don't know. It's fine, I guess, because they're doing cool Inhuman stuff on the TV show. It's making me wonder how they're going to tie it into a movie, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's getting pushed farther and farther back.
Although we didn't talk about it in the segment for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did allude to like the first Inhumans in the episode. So maybe they're starting to lay the groundwork for that now.
Maybe it'll just be a prequel movie. It's all taking place thousands of years before anything we've seen so far.
Rogue One is
maybe
working.
They'll just decide to move it all to the TV universe.
Yeah, that's been a rumor for a while too, that they might not do the Inhumans movie. But the article we linked to, it seems like they're definitely still planning to do it. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but that's what they're saying.
In the comics right now, you have the whole Inhumans versus the mutants going on and everything. And so it's kind of hard to wrap my head around exactly how they're going to slice everything off into its own. But I don't know, we've got years until they start laying the story down. So we'll see. And talking about mutants, there's a possibility that that Jean Grey is a little something darker in the X-Men Apocalypse movie.
Okay, so we all know that Jean Grey is Phoenix.
Yes.
And we all know about the Dark Phoenix storyline, or we all should. And we all know that in the third X-Men movie, which no longer exists, it was handled very poorly.
They took the best X-Men story, one of the best X-Men stories, and made the worst movie.
Yeah. So Bryan Singer is saying that there will be hints in X-Men Apocalypse that there's something darker in Jean Grey. So there are the seeds of another Dark Phoenix story that are settling in. So if the movie does well enough to merit another movie, we might potentially get the Dark Phoenix storyline again, hopefully done better this time. We'll see.
Okay, looking forward to that. Definitely are. Any other news stories that you ladies have that's just laying on the table?
Not that
I
I
think
see.
so.
All right, let's get on the feedback. We got a ton of feedback this week. A lot of it is related to the ongoings. Marvel is in full promo mode on Civil War, as they do every year. I think they gave Batman versus Superman like a week or so leeway, and then they were like, boom, they were into it. So we had a tweet from Mr. Pericletes, and he is telling us that Luke Cage should be like The Wire. I just wanted to leave that in by saying thank you very much for all your news dumps that everybody gave us this week. It was amazing. We had like 5 different people tweeting us news stories. It was that big of a news week for Marvel. So thank you very much. So at Burn to Eat Bacon, who won our last giveaway contest, asked how many episodes are left this season? Hopefully more than one. Yes, sir. Indeed, there are more than one. There are 6 hours of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. left. I don't know if there will be 6 episodes because the last one might be 1 episode, 2 hours. So we'll find out there. And our pal Jeannie at Aset Isis tweeted us, and she basically, it was part of a conversation.
Okay, I need to set this up.
Okay, go ahead.
So on yesterday's Jimmy Kimmel Live, when Clark Gregg was on, they showed a picture of him as a much younger Clark Gregg. Clarkle, what was it? Clarkle something Greggle-ditch. Because Benedict Cumberbatch was there, and he's like, I need a better name. And so it's a picture of a much younger Clark Gregg when he was in a band, and he's playing the drums, apparently very poorly. Mm-hmm. So I tweeted, using the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. account, somebody write the Coulson as band leader fanfic immediately. To which Jeannie included at Gunter Ray, I have a job for you. And to which Gunter Ray tweeted back, I've never seen a single episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Doesn't mean you can't write fanfic about it. Matter of fact,
this is true.
That's kind of like the best kind of fanfic. There's no bounds.
Yeah, it's just so there's this thing that people on Tumblr like point out every now and then. It's like everything I know about this fandom I have learned from absorbing it through other people's Tumblr dashboards.
Like Supernatural?
Yeah.
And Teen
Or
Wolf?
like Teen Wolf. All I know about Teen Wolf is there are shirtless young men.
That's
they are
the
werewolves.
bulk of it. That's about all you need to know.
All I know about Teen Wolf is Michael J. Fox. Sorry.
I think he's in this one.
But so yeah,